Greg, successful day. You were just saying yourself, you picked a guy from Dallas. We have a Texan defender, a guy from Notre Dame. We have another one from Notre Dame. Kind of summed it all up in the pick with Aubrey today.
Yeah, it was good. We're a little surprised that he kept falling down and lower and lower. And he's a guy who was highly rated in terms of our scouting and watching him at Notre Dame. And again, a player who is very comfortable as a passer, strikes the ball very well. He scored 9 goals in his senior campaign. He's a tough-nosed guy. He's good and he's got good size. So he adds to our center back depth, and he's a guy who's learned to play in the back line from Bobby Clark, who's one of the better teachers, the best teachers that we have in our country in the college system. So all of those things bode well for him. He's a good kid. He's focused on what it is he wants to do and the career path he wants to take. And we look forward to adding him to our group.
We spoke all week about the player pathway and having those different options there, like the academy and USL. Did that give you the freedom to pick those 2 picks or to trade those 2 picks in the second round?
Yeah, very much. I mean, it's, as we're sizing up who we're drafting, we're also looking at who we have coming through our academy, USL. All of those scenarios play into that factor. Also, cash is always important in our league to try to be able to get deals done. And sometimes to get deals done that were whether they're international players or whatever, it's always, money is always important. And so it was an opportunity that came about there in the end, and we took it. And, hopefully we can soon make very good use of it.
There was some speculation, talk in the media, Greg, that your center back didn't have a great combine. What did you think of his performance, and did it really make a difference?
It made no difference. We spend a lot of time and energy on scouting players in their environment to see how they do. The combine it's a little bit of luck. It's a little bit of, what team are you selected on? How do you mesh with any of the guys around you? How is the midfield working in front of you? There's a lot of different things that come into play in a combine. These guys haven't played a game in 3 months, and so it's just a small factor. Mostly it's to see him move, to see if he's healthy, to be able to meet these guys, and so for us it's just one small piece of it. But we trust our scouting. We trust the people that this player's been around, and the learning that he's probably taken over the course of his career, and we like the selection and for those reasons.
It looked like you had the world's biggest draft book on your table. It was enormous.
Yeah, that's the scouting. Every one of those guys has been scouted on a number of occasions, and so every one of their reports is in that book. And so and then after all of that, they're put in an order by position, and so we were able to know kind of where they fit based off of all of the data we've selected. Again, that's why the combine is less of a factor in all of this stuff than really anything else. And but it's just, again, one more chance to see these guys and to interact with them before you make the selection.
And were you always going to go center back?
It was very likely. There was some other 1 or 2 other positions that were options for us, but we have a lot of depth coming through both on our roster and coming through the academy and some of the higher attacking positions and in the midfield. And so given where we are at the first team and where our USL group is, where we want these guys to continue to have opportunities to develop, those were the spaces where we felt we could create and find more depth in this draft.
Now, there were a couple of Generation Adidas Canada players on the table. That's a contract one would think would be a nice one to have. That didn't appeal to you?
It appeals, but again, it comes down to, for Sean, it's how many midfielders do we have that are already in our system, and when and where is he going to play, and if he's playing, who is he going to be blocking in terms of coming through. On the other side, it's what ultimate position does help me. Reed, sorry. What other position, does he ultimately play for us? He's similar to a couple of our younger guys, not exactly. There's some other guys we want to get through, but it's a number of factors that play into this, and the question is, where will Reed be when the day is over? It's a challenging situation for him because he's so young. He actually has a hard time, I think, competing in the U.S. Because of FIFA rules, and so he's in a tough situation, even though he's in a fortunate situation. So we have our eye on him. We'll see where this all plays out.
You have a different array of talents at center back right now. The veteran in Drew Moore, the athletic Nick Hagelin, Eric, who's very smart and positions himself well. How does your pick? How does he remind you of anybody, or is he his own man?
I think he's a little bit of a combination of a few guys. He's a very competent passer. He was, for us in terms of the guys that were in this draft, he might have been the top passer. So in that way, he's comfortable. He's got good size and good strength, not afraid to get into a challenge and be physical. Obviously, he has capabilities. You see it in terms of some of the things he does, heading on set pieces, which is another thing that's important that we could add to our group. And I think he's also a cerebral defender. I mean, he's played for Bobby Clark, who's very much a teacher of the back line and moving in the proper way. And so I think he's a little bit combination of all of our guys, and it's just going to be about gaining some experience and getting used to the speed at the game at the professional level. But he comes with a lot of attributes that work for us. So we look forward to getting him in camp.
Do you think he has the talents to be a roster player in his first year, or would he spend time in the U? Do you see him spending time in the USL team?
I give him every chance to come in and earn a spot on the roster. But I think with all of our young center backs, I think playing some time in the USL and gaining some experience and adapting to, again, the speed of things, that I think that's going to be an important part of his development. And only his performances will determine how long or how slow that process is. But and we'll see once we get him in. But again, he has the tools to be a good, strong center back and fits in with our group. And he's a focused kid who has an opportunity to have a long career.
And you obviously got a good endorsement from the Notre Dame coach.
Bobby is a good friend of some of our staff, and I know him as an acquaintance, and obviously I have a lot of respect for what Bobby does with his players, and he's had a lot of successful defenders like Justin Morrow, who is a part of our team. So yeah, that's an important aspect of where these guys are learning and how they see the game.